Hey everyone, Dr. Frunky here with another live doctor's discussion. So I'm going to let some people start filing in here before I start talking too much. What's going on, Ryan? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I'm going to let some folks kind of file in. Kind of tried to give a heads up this time that we were going to be having a live feed. So I hope a lot of people can join us tonight. What's happening, Mikey? It's going pretty well, man. How about yourself? What's up, Pocket? Dub? All right, we're getting some folks in here. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Refined Edged, Eli, James. What's happening, guys? What's happening? Welcome to the chat. Again, just letting a few people come in here. I've got some exciting stuff to talk about. This has been an absolute whirlwind of a week. What's happening, Bryce? And I've just been picking up a whole bunch of new knives here. What's up, Big E? Yeah, Dub, we have a nice collection of knives right here, and they're all brand new to the channel. All of these are just brand spanking new. So I wanted tonight to sort of serve as a preview of some of the stuff that's coming up, and I really just enjoy doing sort of question and answer stuff. These videos, even though I do talk for, a few minutes at a time, it's just, I don't get to really interact with you guys in the same way. You leave comments, but this is a whole lot more fun and lively, so happy to do this. Let's see. Yeah, show messages. I want to make sure I can read these. This is the episode when you pick a buyer for your BBM? No, not quite, my friend. That one, that will make an appearance, so why don't I just go ahead and show you that one right here. So, speaking of the BBM, let's just start there, guys. I just got a couple of knives in, actually, from my good buddies over at Birdshot IV. Or Birdshot 4, or however you say their channel. But thanks to Bird, I just got a full lineup here of NCC knives. And I just had a comment on my Best Knives of 2017 video that kind of, it was sort of directed at me in a negative way. And it says, thanks for choosing a knife that nobody has access to and nobody can buy. Great information going on here. Now, that's hilarious. First of all, it's true, because this knife is not readily accessible. But the reason that I chose it was more or less to highlight the fact that Nick Chuprin is making knives of incredible quality. So he's been making these micros right here. And basically, this is just as good as the BBM. It's like a flipper BBM. Take a look at this thing. Tiny little 2.55-inch blade. Super, super nicely made. Just incredible. No clip on this. This comes with a carrying case instead. Super high quality ball bearing flipper. Super strong detent. And a beautiful thing. If you like the BBM, I'm telling you, every bit of the quality that's in the BBM are in Nick's other knives. He's doing a great job right now. So this is a knife that's actually not yet released. This is a knife that had a lot of controversy. This was the one that, I believe it was, Blade Show, that just vanished because Birdshot picked it up and walked away with it. That was some drama right there. But this knife is legendary for that. And just look at this thing, the MK1, the Mark I, just beautiful. It's got the grind of a Michael Ziba, but it's like, oh man, it's just so nice. It's incredible. This is a perfect size, and it just fits my hand really nicely. Even though I have a huge hand, this is a small knife. It's like 3.25 inches, but somehow, just like the BBM, it fits my hand perfectly. Nick has found a way to make a small knife fit into the hand of a bigger person here. So very, very cool. It does look like Ziba's knives. Now, I'll tell you what, though. Nick is actually producing some of Michael Ziba's knives. Right? So take a look at the new Ziba Bold. It's sort of a lower cost option. Do you know why it costs less? It's because he's using it. It's a mid-tech that he's making with NCC knives. NCC, Nick Chuprin basically is the guy running the shop, and he's got the CNC and everything, and I think he's going to do big things. So that's why I chose the BBM as my knife of the year 2017, even though it's relatively inaccessible. And so I do apologize about that. I even said it, that people are going to get mad at me for choosing that knife. but it was my favorite knife of the year, and it certainly has led me to go ahead and pick up a couple of other things. So yeah, very cool, very cool. I suppose that the segue from that is the fact that I took that same design element and I put it into this knife. I have the video finished on this. I may actually go ahead and release it right after this live feed, since everyone is kind of sticking around and going to be available to maybe watch a YouTube video. But this is my new Koenig Knives Arius, and holy crap, it's amazing. The black and green sort of motif on this knife just looks incredible. I'm really enjoying this. Now, I made a post this morning about the Arius, kind of gushing about it, and honestly, it's well-deserved. This is a really great knife. I don't think you're going to find a negative review of it anywhere. And if that person is negatively reviewing this knife, then I wouldn't trust them pretty much. Even Nick Shabazz loved this knife. Go and check out his review of the Koenig Arius, and you can check my old video of it too from back in October. But absolutely incredible piece right here. Absolutely. Let's see. That's good. You guys have any questions? You guys want to talk about anything right now? I don't really have a directed talk tonight. I just kind of like to open the floor up and see if anyone wants to talk. Yep, you definitely went off on that Instagram post. I mean, it's just that good. I'm telling you. And, I'll publish the video in a little bit. But the detent is better than it was. The action is just as smooth. This scale is breathtaking. Really, really nice. All of this thing is just so good. It's just that good. All right, and so there is a video that I did release, and Ryan is pushing me to go for it. He wants to take a look at the Shiro. The Sigma came in too. So this week has been unbelievable, and we're going to have a big reveal here in just a second, so you guys should stick around because I'm going to get into it. But the Shiro Sigma is incredible. So I was really lucky. I definitely loved having my F3. You guys joined me for a live video maybe when I did the surgery on this, and I turned this into the copper shred, copper dust F3 right here. It's happening, Taylor. How's it going? But I've been loving this. But I actually bought this because I never thought I was going to get the Sigma, because I never win anything I ever enter. I enter lotteries, I enter raffles. I have not won a single darn one of those things. I bet Tim Allen 321, that dude is the luckiest guy on Instagram. He wins every single raffle and everything. But my name just came up, and they said, here you go, you can buy this. Does the guy who customized your F3 do neons also? Actually, yes. If you check the link from my video over there, Department 13 Knives, that guy actually does almost any knife you can think of. He'll do paramilitary 2 scales. You want some copper dust PM2 scales? Hit him up. He'll do a neon. He does the hottie. He does a whole lot of knives. So check out his Instagram feed, and he'll do a whole lot. Now, an interesting thing is this, and I don't know if you guys have made this connection yet, but there's a company in Europe called Carbon Plate. Carbon Plate is a carbon fiber provider, and they make these high-end carbon fibers. And something that makes this carbon fiber even a bit more legitimate is that Carbon Plate is the exclusive provider of carbon fiber to Shiro. This is actually just the plain weave carbon fiber from that company, Carbon Plate. Now, this guy over at Department 13 Knives, that's where he gets this from. Carbon Plate makes the white and black CF, and the red and black, and the orange and black, and the green and black CF that you see on the current lineup of Shirogorovs right now. But none of them have this copper stuff. Maybe you'll see this coming out on some of the higher-end custom divisions, but he'll make you one of these too, and it will just make your knife that much cooler. But if you've got even a regular knife, Spyderco's I was mentioning earlier, PM2s and other things, he's got scales that he can make for that. What do I think about the Benchmade 765? I've never handled one, so I'm not sure. I wish I could tell you. Another knife that has come through in the last couple of days. Which one? How much did it run you? This, the Shiro. This unfortunately cost $1,300. That's a whole lot of money for a knife. It's something special, but it's not a full custom. It's really not. This knife is essentially a full custom. This came in pretty much, yeah, wow is right. This one is basically built to my spec. It is actually completely built to my spec. I asked, every single detail on here is something that I asked him to do, and this was significantly less, hundreds and hundreds of dollars less than that. So yeah, that's a price tag. And somebody asked me if Shirogorovs are really worth it because they're not really custom knives, you know? They're basically high-end production. And, you know, it's like a fancy ZT, but it costs $1,300, right? I mean, what are we getting besides that? It's a beautiful piece, don't get me wrong. The Dmitry Sinkovich design is nice. I love the blade. It's super, super useful. This looks like a kitchen knife. Some people might like that, some people won't. It looks like the Spidey Chef to me. Super useful. If I could only have one, Sigma or Arius. Absolutely 1,000,000% I'm choosing the Arius. And that's because this was built to my spec. This has so much more meaning behind it to me than the Sigma. The Sigma feels like a fluke, honestly. You know, it's a great knife, it's beautiful, and I'm in love with it, and I'm happy to keep it, and I'm not intending to sell it because it's basically an ultimate Shirogorov, but it's not built to my spec. This knife just happened to fall in my lap. And so actually that's kind of a good segue right there into my next thing and that I wanted to talk about. We're a few minutes in. We got a whole bunch of people here in the chat. And in the video here, so thanks guys for stopping by. I already touched on these two knives. I'll bring them out a little bit later. Birdshot IV, thank you so much for sending these guys along. We'll get back into them in a little while. I want to clear off some space. We talked about the Koenig Knives Arius right here. Absolutely amazing. Do you recommend the Olamic Busker? Well, I made a video on it. I think that the Busker is a knife that you're going to have to decide on your own because it's got two things that will sort of limit what you want to do with it, and that's that it's very small, it's like this big, and it's a front flipper, so you have to like both of those things to really love the Busker. It wasn't for me. It's a small knife. It's too small for me. There's a certain limit. You know, I'm not going to carry this 2.5-inch knife. It's far too small for me. You know, I don't have a good grip on it. The blade is just silly. I don't like little knives. I tend to like larger knives that fit in my hand better because I have better control. The Busker wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean it's not for you. Are you going to get the Southern Mini Tolk? No, I'm not going to get that one. I wasn't on the list for that. What do I think about Hoback knives? I released a Hoback Quebec video not too long ago, actually. You can check that one out. They're neat, nicely machined. Not really for me most of the time, though. I find some of the designs, especially that new Paraclete, just to not be ideal, to be honest. This is a Marfione Anax. I've been holding this knife for a minute, and I haven't even said anything about it. This comes to me by way of my buddy Nico. Everyone knows him as Today's Grail, Tomorrow's Beater. This just came through. This actually came to me from my Louisiana buddy about my Louisiana buddy Staza 23. This guy just sent this one up to me. He sold this one to my buddy Nico. Interesting knife right here. Interesting knife. Yes, it is an integral. One piece right here. I actually have a couple of these on the table right now. Of course, everyone loves the Resenti. This guy right here. The Anax, ugly. It is kind of ugly. It's a little bit ugly. The handle's beautiful. The blade is a little bit funny looking. Yeah, I'm showing off, but this is not mine. This is mine right here. I'm going to show this guy off. This is a perfect knife. I still haven't made the video for this because I need this video basically to be perfect because this knife is perfect, and I don't want to mess it up, so it needs to be just right. So back to the subject at hand. So there's a difference between having a special knife and having a custom knife. And then there's a difference between having what's a custom knife and then having a knife that's actually spec'd out to your specifications. So, you know, this one is called a Marfione Custom Anax, right? So this is a custom knife because he had some part in building this. But this is not really a true custom per se because it wasn't hand-built by one dude. And just work with me here on this. In any case, even if you get a full custom knife, okay? So let's talk about the Resenti for a second, actually. So this knife, I just actually fell into this knife. He was selling it, and I happened to, you know, have good enough timing to just say, I'll take it right now, and I happened to buy it. But this was not spec'd out by me. And then you get into something like this. That is a essentially a high-end production knife, but you can spec out all of the custom options that you want. And so this one has been spec'd out, and it's more special to me. Even though it's not, you know, this is built by a team of people, and it's very similar to the high-end productions. Let's see, what are we doing here? People saying some things. Let's be nice in here, guys. So this is a very, very nice knife, but and I spec'd it out to my desires. But there's even a level beyond this, and I'm gonna go ahead and bust that out right now. We're gonna have a knife reveal. I've lost some viewers here, but I want to show you guys something here. So I'm gonna put away this knife. This also falls into that category of special, but not quite perfectly special to me. And so right here, I wanted to show off this knife. This is the Brown Knives Servo. I'm definitely going to have a video on this one coming up. Start talking about what you think about this knife, guys, and be brutally honest. This is the Brown Knives Servo. This is made by a guy, Craig Brown. He's out of Idaho, if I'm not mistaken. He's over there with some of those guys over there. Anyways, he's an engineer, and he is incredibly smart. This is a knife geek of the truest level. Yeah, it's a beautiful blade. He is an engineer, and he doesn't own a knife. He does not own a single knife. It's an incredible thing. Actually, Bill Koenig is sending him his first knife. His first knife that he's ever going to own is going to be a Koenig Arius, which I think is a great place to start. In any case, he doesn't own a knife, but he's created what may be one of the most spectacular knives on the market right now. Now, his first knife was the Parabolic. That was an integral handled knife, like the ones that were on the screen a few minutes ago. This knife, though, is a sort of a standard like frame lock flipper, but very high quality CNC work going on, and totally well thought out. And just like the Koenig Knives Arius, it is constantly improving. Almost day to day, this knife is improving. And so I actually put in an order with Craig Brown a few months ago at the outset of the sale of the Servo here. And so I'm going to go ahead and reveal for you guys my new knife. I think it's taken long enough. It's been 17 minutes of video here. But I have a new knife, and I literally just opened this. I've touched this for about 10 seconds. I put it right back in the box, and we're going to show it to you. You are not too late. Tony, welcome, Tony, to the party, dude. We're just getting into it. So I was just talking about my Servo. I'm gonna keep the tensions high. Tony's got a Servo over there. Hurry up, bro. Yeah, okay. Tony's got a Servo. He can tell me what he thinks of his. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. Oh, and here we go. We got some information on the inside here, dudes. We got the Brown Knives Servo, CPM 154, titanium handle, number 13. Now, what are the odds of that? My Arius and my Servo are both lucky number 13 this week, so I can't believe this at all. Let's not talk about Browse Knives in here at all ever again. Thank you. That's great. So Brown Knives is information. Craig Brown, chief designer and machinist. He basically does all of this, brownknives.com. But here it is. This is the ultimate Dr. Frunky knife, and you guys are going to lose your minds. Okay, first of all, take a look at this, okay? Literally, he put my logo on the pivot. On the pivot, he milled a skull. Unbelievable, right? I'm a lucky, lucky man. And this is, this is all Craig. Craig is a nice guy, and he really worked with me. I literally just said to him one night, probably at 11:30 at night, skull pivot. And he said, let me get back to you. And he sent me a picture of this like 2 days later. Unbelievable. Now look at this, okay? Some people, I showed this as a preview to a few people on Instagram, and some people said it was the face sucker from Alien. Yeah, it's like, someone said it looked like a scorpion. As a matter of fact, this is a human spine. And it is anatomically accurate in the sense that it has the correct number of vertebrae. It's got the sacrum, it's got your coccyx, it's got all the spinous processes. It even has lumbar lordosis, thoracic kyphosis with a little bit of cervical lordosis. Even C2 and C1 are anatomically accurate. This looks like this guy just broke his neck, honestly, and I'm going to need to fix it. But that's perfect for me because I'm a neurosurgeon. and it's absolutely perfect for me because I work on brains and skulls and spines all day. It's amazing to me. And so a lot of people are going to think this looks weird. Some people aren't going to like it, but to me, this is so much more meaningful than any other knife in my collection has ever been, because this is personalized to me 150%. And so if you like it, awesome. If you don't, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And there are other beautiful brown Knives Servos, but let me run through a couple of the other things that are going on here. He blackened the titanium scales. Oh, I'm going to open it, bro. I'm going to open it. But I got to show you the rest of what's going on here. Here is the scales. He blackened the titanium, which took a very long time. And then he milled out that spine pattern. Now check out the accessories here. I hope this is coming through well in the video. But this has a Damascus back spacer. It has a Damascus clip that he also blackened, and then he anodized it. Now look at the colors that he achieved there. He went for green, but he got every color of the rainbow there. It's actually pretty neat looking. A really bright pop of color there. I'm going to go ahead and open this guy up now. Strong detent. And then his second only hand rubbed satin blade. He's only done 2 knives like this, including this one right here. It's almost mirror polished. You can see the reflection of the camera right there. Really incredible. Yes, this is a knife. No, it's not. It's a hand-rubbed satin. So this is in CPM 154, which I thought was a little interesting because I thought this knife was going to come in RWL 34, but it was an interesting surprise that it's in CPM. I think that it's really, really stunning, especially on this end right here, because he's kept all of this sort of satin and beautiful. The nice thing is that it matches the blade. I was initially thinking that I was going to put some green anodization on this side, but it's way better without it right now. So very, very cool. Okay, very, very nice. What are you going to use that on your next surgery? I wish that I could. I honestly wish that I totally could, but take a look at these 2 knives. They're so special, man. He does a great job. This guy's an engineer, and he knows what he's doing. He and I actually had some talks about the angulation of the blade tang as it meets up with the lock. We talked about the math of lock geometry and all that stuff. It's absolutely incredible. He is an absolute nerd, and he's another guy to look out for. In the realm of makers taking their custom knives and making them suddenly more expensive, and I'm going to talk about Grimsmo Brothers right here, because this knife is remarkably similar to the Grimsmo Brothers knives, because they're high quality, all CNC made, beautiful pieces, very, very smooth action. The tolerances here are unreal. This thing, I literally opened this 20 seconds before the video and flipped it once and then made this video. No, this is never coming apart, my friend, at least not right now. But it's incredibly smooth, so very similar to the Norseman's. Now these are available, the base price for one of these I think was about $550. With these upgrades, it was considerably more, and we don't need to talk about money on here. But if you can get one of these for $550, that's amazing. Now the Norseman is going to cost you, $800, $900. I think Nathan over at Spade Knife Works is really, really getting mad. So I think if you saw his posts today, you know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and bring out some other things here and talk about them. That's a beautiful piece right there, but I got a couple of other knives I wanted to show you guys. I got a Dahle Bore. I've never had a Dahle Bore before. This is not mine. This belongs to a buddy of mine. Thanks so much for letting me borrow this, Ian. This is a Dahle Bore Helios. And I am a lucky guy to get to hold this knife. This is by far the most expensive knife that's ever been on the channel. Can you believe it? Now, I've had a series of, like, ridiculously expensive knives on here, but this one takes the cake by a significant margin, by hundreds of dollars. The Dahle Bore Helios. Beautiful blade. Beautiful blade. Damasteel, Vinland Damasteel. Integral titanium handle with all this milling pattern. Gorgeous. Nicely done. It runs on phosphor bronze washers. $3,000 $3,000 for this. Would you guys ever pay $3,000 for a knife? I think I learned the hard way that no, I would not want to spend $3,000 on a knife. No, that's so much money. It's beautiful, but man, oh man, I don't think so. No, not on this guy. But we're gonna talk about that once I get around to making this video. Very, very cool piece right here. Thankful to get it in hand. I've been curious about this guy's work for a long time. He's got some much bigger knives. This is almost an EDC size knife compared to some of the other ones that he makes. So very cool. Grimsmo price way too high for what you get. Absolutely, that is absolutely the truth. Here's another knife right here. This is not a brand new knife, but it's got an interesting story to it. This knife actually came to me from Jim Skelton. Jim Skelton, everybody here definitely knows who Jim Skelton is. Basically, like, he's the original sort of cool knife dude, high-end knife dude. And, you know, my channel is more or less similar to his. I even have a carbon fiber background. I didn't really intend to copy Jim in that sense, but it's just easy to have it. It provides a high contrast background, and what can you do? It's cheap. It was easy for me to make. It looks cool. And I didn't mean to steal it. It's just, you know, it's carbon fiber. Anything else is very distracting, and it just works. In fact, I was talking a little bit to the people who have been here since the beginning about my friends over at Carbon Plate, the folks that made the carbon fiber for this Sigma right here, and also the carbon fiber for my F3. So I'm actually probably going to invest in the channel here and get a huge piece of real carbon fiber for my background, because I've noticed that mine is starting to get a little lumpy bumpy from the wear and tear that I've put on it, because this is actually just sort of a foam board, a strong foam board under here, and it kind of is getting lumpy bumpy. So I may get a real sheet of carbon fiber for the background of the channel, and I'll talk to you guys more about that as details develop there. So happy to talk about this Arius. Let's talk about another knife that came through recently. I just picked up a NCC. Yeah, CRK. Nick Shabazz said, "Why are you buying that knife? That's like so out of place in your collection." But you know, I want to talk about something. Kevin Cleary just had an awesome video on should my first high-end knife be a CRK. And it was very interesting with his timing, because I think I've come full circle on CRK. And early on in my knife collecting days, long before I started the Dr. Frunky channel, I purchased a 25. And the 25 was a super nice knife. It has all of this ergonomics. It's essentially the NCC with a slightly smaller washer. I loved the knife. I carried it all the time, but I ended up getting interested in something else, and so I sold it, and that was well over a year ago. That's almost 2 years ago now, maybe 2 years ago or more, that I sold my CRK. And now 2 years have gone by. I have held some of the finest knives in the world. I mean, you can look at my table right now. I've got some of the finest knives in the world. I'm gonna put some of these things down here so you guys can see these, so you know I'm not just talking out of my ass here. You know, you've been following my channel. You see what's going on here. You know what's happening. I got all this stuff, all these knives, and now I've got a CRK back in my hands. And so what do I think now? What do I think about CRK? I am so impressed with these guys. Every single Chris Reeve knife that I've ever gotten is in spectacular working order. Never in my life have I had a single problem with it. They function beautifully. They look amazing. This is the quintessential folding knife, in my honest opinion. It looks amazing. And finally, with this NCC, they got the 25 to be smooth enough that you can actually flick it open. So finally, it's just smooth enough and nice enough, and it just feels amazing. And with these micarta inlays, it's so comfortable in the hand. It's so nice. And, you know, I see where people talk about why these are so nice. As a guy who has handled some of the highest quality pieces in the world, including some things like by Stan Wilson and some other really high-end makers that I couldn't have on the channel because those knives didn't belong to me, this is a great knife. End of story. There's no question. These are great knives. Now, some of them are not perfect, but it happens. No flick of the CRK. I'm gonna flick this knife all day. This knife is never going anywhere. This is gonna be a forever keeper. Absolutely, absolutely. This double lug right here, silver lugs. Let's talk about that. Let's get rid of the CRK thumb stud first of all, but let's really get rid of the blue. Who actually likes the blue thumb stud? That stuff wears away immediately and looks terrible in 2 seconds. So I don't really know. In any case, I did want to talk about this knife right here. So I'm going to go back to playing with my servo because it's friggin' sweet. Now I want to take some questions, guys. It's been 30 minutes. I got 42 of you guys captive in here right now. Ask me some questions. I'll see if I can pay attention and answer them for you. Fanatic Edge, come on, dude. No, he doesn't. Let's be nice. The Fanatic Edge drop, yeah, dude, I'm getting that knife. I'm going to do that. Let's see. The last Resenta you got from under me. Oh, man, I don't know how that happened. He told me that I was second in line, and then he sold it to me. Any difference between the two servos? Yes, so I didn't actually get into that. Let me move some of these knives away so I don't, like, ding all these things up. I'm going to show you some of the differences, Tony. That's a good point right there. You can keep a knife. You can keep one knife. What is it? Keep one knife right now? Oh, my God. I don't even know what to say. This one? Maybe this one? Yeah, the ZT0392. These knives are on the same level. That's how good these are. Absolutely. Absolutely. What was my first memorable knife? This was my first memorable knife, dude. This was the first knife that got me into knife buying. The 0392 right here. Absolutely. But be first in line if you ever sell it. Well, I'm not sure. I'll let you know. I don't know if I can sell that thing. But this one definitely was the first knife that got me interested. Go back, way back in my channel. It was the second video that I ever did after the Spyderco Nirvana. But I love that knife. That's what got me into high-end knives. That's what started my addiction. That knife is a problem. So I'm going to show you some differences here. So Craig is constantly improving these knives. He's constantly changing things. I can show you one thing right off the bat. Check this out. These knives are separated by literally days off of the conveyor belt, or whatever you want to call it, off of the system. There's a new cutout going on right here. It's very much more comfortable. The 450 is what hooked you. Nice. Is that an Invictus Auto in your stash? Yes. In fact, it is. This is an Invictus. This actually came to me from Jim Skelton. This is going to my buddy Nico as well. Today's Grail, tomorrow's Beater. Homeboy's got an amazing collection amassing over there in Greece, but most of them are going through me. Absolutely cool knife right here. Thanks for the shout out there about being a doctor. I do appreciate that. Thank you. You guys don't... I'm just going to tell you about a story here since I got this knife out on the table here. A couple of days ago, I was actually doing surgery on a person. I was doing a lumbar fusion, huge surgery. Took me 4 hours. I did an L2 to S1 fusion, put in some intervertebral cage spacers and things like that. And then I walk out and he sends me a picture of this in action, and it absolutely blew me away. That put a smile on my face. Absolutely. I'm basically talking like word salad right now. I got my servo very quick. No, my servo actually, man, this is from the first batch. This is still first batch servo right here. There were 17 in the initial batch. Mine is numbered 13. And so I've been waiting on this since back in the day. Absolutely. What's up, Nick? Yeah, I'm so confused. I'm just trying to take, let's see. That little notch was a fail. I don't know if it's a fail. It's just not quite as nice. L5 to S1 fusion 7 months ago. I hope you're doing okay after that. Some people do well. I hope you're doing great. End of the line. Last one or two? I hope so. They may be coming up with the second round. Who's getting a second one? Who's getting one of the second gen servos right here? Ask me some questions about these servos. Yeah, he only posted it a day ago. It got here super fast. Super fast. Hell, can I get an appointment to just talk about knives? Here you are, dude. This is the appointment. right here. Let's not talk prices. Let's just not talk about prices. That's it. Any difference in the lock bar cutout? Yeah. I just showed you this one. Not really in the cutout itself. Not there. That's still the same. Cheap. First gen getting a second. Good. Good. 4 days a week in the gym. That's good, dude. Are you ever going to show your face? I probably will. I'm not really trying to hide it quite as hard as Nick is. But, you know, it just helps. I don't really need you guys talking about how ugly I am. I'd rather just keep it focused on the knives. But that's okay. Much impressed with being a doctor. Very impressed. Thanks, dude. What's he charging? Cheap. Oh, yeah. Brown? Craig Brown? Yeah, absolutely. You just did? Yeah, I mean, you can see my face in these knives sometimes. I'll do it right here. Pause this video. Sometime later, you'll see my face. What is happening, Spade? Hey, Doc, what Chris Reeve folder should be my first? Okay, so I can actually make some recommendations here. Get a Sebenza 21. End of story. Get the 21 and see if you like it. I really like the 25 a little bit more. It's better for my hand. That's basically my recommendation. If you have a bigger hand, you can do this. I'm not joking about the Resenti. Absolutely, man. Well, I'll keep you in mind. If I ever sell it, I get so many offers, dude. I gotta just be equitable when I sell them. Got the Arius on hand. I'd like to see some screen time. Well, early on in the video, I had it going on, so I'll bust it back out. Absolutely. This thing is incredible. I've got this video coming up. I've got it made. I was just saying earlier, I'm going to release it right as soon as this video is over, actually, so you guys have a whole bunch of content to watch tonight. For all complaining about medical issues, I should see the doc. I had TBI in the military. That's too bad, dude. Did you get bomb blast or something like that? That's tough. So you carry your 21, man? You're carrying a 21 right now? Is that your go-to knife? How about you guys? Let me send a question out to you guys. I want to see what you say. What is your favorite Chris Reeve knife? What is your favorite Chris Reeve knife right now? Answer. IED. I'm sorry, dude. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. I know I can't do what I do without folks like you doing what you do. 21. I'll tell you this. I just had a tie lock on the channel. I just reviewed it yesterday, actually, and sent it back to my buddy Mitch. And that knife was freaking terrible. I hate the Chris Reeve tie lock. It is one of the worst knives I've ever handled, period. For so many reasons, please don't ever buy one. If I can make any recommendation, it's don't buy a Browse knife and don't buy a CRK tie lock. So that's it. It's that bad. Just don't do it. In any case, this is my weapon of choice right here. I love the way that the Inkosi looks, and I really like these micarta inlays. I didn't think I was going to be a friend. I was going to enjoy this very much, but I actually like this a lot more. The tie lock has been discontinued. Yes, I know, because it's friggin' terrible. I know, I already told Nick. I was like, Nick, you're crazy, dude. This knife is terrible. This is the worst thing in the world. How are you telling people that you like this? I think he likes the quirkiness of it because he's a kind of a quirky dude, but good Lord, that knife is terrible. Why no Browse? They're just awful, dude. That's all I have to say about that. And they lied, and Jason Browse has... Oh boy, don't even get me started, dude. Just go and look up the history of that company and the fact that they were offering customs for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and now those exact same knives are selling for $120. Anyways, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. F, for your reviews and your contribution. Your reviews with Nick's are the best on YouTube. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Rex. If I get the Browse, yeah, the one giveaway, I won't even take a free Browse, dude. I don't even want a free Browse. If you're in the market for a high-end knife right now, guys, buy a Koenig Arius. Hands down, done and done. Buy this knife. If you have the money and you don't own one of these yet, you should. Absolutely. Now, you really dislike their new Isham design. Yeah. They took the Elijah Isham design and they turned it into a piece of crap, dude. I'm sorry. don't talk about Browse, dude. I start getting like totally worked up and I start cussing, and it's not going to go well. It's not YouTube friendly. They're going to demonetize my whole channel if I actually say what I want to say. What knife do I carry the most? What knife do I... Well, I've been carrying a whole lot of different knives recently. I've been very high with my throughput right now. In terms of the knife that's been carried the most, this knife has easily been carried the most. Recently, I found myself going to the F3. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is an incredible knife. The F3 is the perfect combination of usefulness, beauty, smoothness. It's just perfect. I gotta say, I don't like my Ontario Carter. Just don't like it. That's an important thing. We can talk about that. I actually sent my Ontario Carter back to Blade HQ. And that is because the blade was hitting the backspacer. Yeah, absolutely. The blade was hitting the backspacer, which is something that should not happen in any folding knife. That is a major flaw. I sent it back, and I'm hoping that they send me another one. I know that they will. I asked them to exchange it. If it happens again, I'm going to return the knife, and I'm going to tell you guys that the knife is a failure. Because, it's nothing against Rob Carter. I think the design is amazing. I think it's just let down by the fact that it's built by that company. So, I don't have a Medford, never had a Medford. Look forward to follow up on your Shiro Sigma. I can bring that out again. This is a great knife. Did you see Reeve Knives and the Elijah Isham design? It's got Fanatic's name on it. Makes no sense. I don't know why that either, but I'm going to end up buying that knife, Spade. I know, bro. We're friends, dude, but I'm going to buy that knife because it's got Elijah's name on it, and it's absolutely wicked looking. I will tell you, though, that to spec it out the way that I want to spec that knife out, it's going to be $363. $363. But it is M390, but it's made by Reeve Knives. It's got Fanatic Edge's name on it. I don't really know. I didn't see that on there. I wonder what he's going to do with his logo. What do you think about it, Nathan? You tell me. Speak the truth, brother. Tell me what you think. Did anybody else win a Sigma in here? Anybody else have one of these guys? Did you hear from Recon 1? This was not favor. This was not like some sort of favor that they did me. I never win anything. They barely ever responded to me ever. I don't think they know who I am. So I was very lucky. The Koenig doesn't have shouldered standoffs. Do you foresee any centering issues because I want to get one? Shouldered standoffs, it's got a backspacer. It's more rigid than standoffs. Bah. Better. Get one. No doubt in my mind. 100% recommended. Dr. Frunke approved. Koenig Arius. Buy one. Absolutely. Do your fingers get beat up messing with knives? Don't you worry about that with your job. One of the great things about being a surgeon is that my hands are ridiculously steady. I have very good fine motor coordination, and I cut myself very rarely. Now, I do cut myself, and sometimes it is a problem. But luckily, I work at a hospital. I just get some Dermabond, glue my finger cut, and it's good to go. It's waterproof, and it's perfectly good to go for the day. So not a problem there. Let's take a look. I think Isham is a fad with 15 minutes of fame, one of the least functional designers to ever hit the market. That said, his ergos are on point and the chamfering is all neat. So that's interesting. You're right. I think that Elijah makes interesting designs, but over and over again, he makes these knives that are too funky to use. Even the Black Knight Satellite that I had was not really a functional knife. The Reeve Knives Zeta is probably the closest thing to a functional knife that he's made so far. Probably that Fanatic Edge knife that Spade is talking about right now, with the whole Fanatic being a part of it, seems... Yeah. Basically, that's it. Basically, Elijah's work is very complicated. Reeve Knives is making a bunch of his designs. Kaiser... a bunch of people. Fanatic Edge is making Elijah Isham designs. I guess that's Reeve Knives, but what are you going to do? Do you know any other doctors that are into knives? So, I'm going to tell you a story, my friend. I am going to tell you a story. When I was initially collecting knives, I had like 4 knives. I had like maybe 4 or 6 of them. I had been collecting them. I had gotten a paramilitary 2 here. I definitely had this knife, the 0392. That one's been around forever. I had a few others, the Nirvana, a couple of other interesting knives. And my anesthesiologist buddy, he was an attending anesthesiologist. I'm still a resident, so if you guys know what that means, basically like he's a boss and I'm still kind of in training. And he was like, bro, you need to make a channel on YouTube. You could present as good as Nick Shabazz, as well as Nick Shabazz does, so freaking do it. Just get out there and make some videos. And so I did, and I got a pretty good response. And here we are, like 16 months later, something like that. 17 months later, and this knife has been here from the beginning. This is one that I can't bring myself to sell. This is also that good. This knife and this knife are just that good. They are that good. 100% recommended without a hesitation. Absolutely. Let's see here. What got you into knives? I can answer that question as well. I have always been into taking things apart, and so I appreciate sort of a small thing that's well made. When I went to college, I actually majored in chemistry, and so I love chemistry, and I enjoy the material science of knives. So there was a specific episode that made me buy my very first knife, and that was a fixed blade. I bought a K-Bar Tanto because I had a neighbor that I honestly thought was going to kick in my door and murder me one night because he was completely emotionally unstable. I knew this guy. He had been kicked out of our medical school, and it was not going well. He was freaking crazy, man. I was convinced that he was going to somehow break into my apartment and kill me, so I bought a giant fixed blade knife, the K-Bar Tanto. And I learned about it, and I was like, okay, this is a cool knife, but what makes this knife good? Why is the K-Bar so cool? I bought it because it has a legendary sort of history as a weapon sort of a knife. And I learned about it. It was like, okay, what's the steel? 1095 steel. What's 1095 steel? And then I was like, okay, what is another steel that's out there? Okay, this other knife that I have, this says AUS 8 on it. This is a CRKT. What is AUS 8? Is that a good steel? Is it a better steel? No, it's not a particularly good steel. So one thing led to another, and I honestly started studying the material science of steel and of titanium, and then I just started learning what knives would have those steels, and eventually it just kind of led me down a path where I started discovering some of these beautiful pieces that are out there, some of these awesome makers. And then I graduated medical school and started making an income. And so suddenly I could actually afford these things. Now, I'm not married and I don't have any kids. And so I'm able to kind of spend money a little bit more freely than maybe the average person. Does that make me selfish? Sure, why not? But it makes you guys get a lot more content. You guys get a lot more fun out of the end of your days when you can come through and watch some Frunky, right? Please tell me you're right. I just hope you guys are enjoying this somehow, some way. More questions. Let's do this. We're at 48 minutes of uninterrupted frunk time. I'm just whipping out knives right now, seeing if I can stimulate some conversation. What do you guys want to know? Don't get married, don't have kids. Tony, that's excellent advice. But I would like to. I think that maybe, just maybe, I could make some smart kids that could do some good stuff in this world. But we'll see. I don't want the world to end up like the movie Idiocracy. That movie was just all too real. Absolutely. Get a dog instead. Love your channel. Taking so much time to make them. It does take time. I've found this this takes a whole lot of time. I just crossed over 222 videos uploaded to YouTube, and all of them are at least 10 minutes apiece. So yeah, that's it. Do you think you'll move into full customs in the future? Well, I mean, I have a few full customs. This is a full custom, bro. This is as custom as it gets. Super custom. This is a full custom. Rosenti, full custom. I think one day I may end up getting some of those more crazy knives, but to be honest, I'm not really into those like hyper Timascus, you know, $10,000 Stan Wilson non-flipper flippers. Those are a little bit too crazy for me. That's too much money. And, you know, I understand that, you know, some of these are too much money, but that's really too much money. Have I handled an eschaton? No, I haven't handled an eschaton. Let's see. Because that knife, honestly, I would have bought that knife and reviewed it for you guys at $250. But at $350, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not spending $350 on a Wii. I'm sorry, bro. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Someone asked, why is Shirogorov so desirable? That is a very good question. That is a very good question. Got any advice for pre-meds? Study. Do well on your MCAT. Study some more. Be serious. Apply broadly and deeply. Apply to as many places as you can, and places that are good and places that are not so good, and hope for the best. That's my advice for medical school. And get ready to spend a lot of money and take out a whole lot of loans and go into a massive amount of debt to serve people that are very sick. Many are grateful, some of them are not. Be ready for a difficult situation. Are you getting the Wii Nitida? I do not have any current plans to pick up any Wii knives in the immediate future. No. To be very honest with you, I think Wii's best work are the collaborations that they do with other people. Wii Knives make some kind of weird shit. I'm not going to lie. You can't spell weird without Wii, right? Where did I go to medical school? I went to medical school at Rush University in Chicago, Illinois. That is where my family lives, and that is where I went to medical school. What is my specialty? I'm a neurosurgeon. That's right, brain and spine surgery. Surgery of the brain, spine, and peripheral nerves. I'm a 5th-year resident. I'm not a full attending neurosurgeon, and that's where I am in my training. This knife, though, I just brought this guy out and I didn't talk about it. ZT0920. Who should I send my knives to get customized? Nathan, are you still in here? Raise your hand. His name is Spade Knife Works, dude. Send it to him, 100%. Most I've spent on one knife is the $2,400 on a bodega. So, pretty good purchase. And I agree. The only problem is I have a lot of $1,500 to $200, $2,000 knives. That's the thing too, man. But what I've noticed is that at about $1,500, okay, and there is sort of there's a line right there where you can get the greatest knife mechanically in the entire world for $1,500. All of these knives cost less than $1,500, okay? All of them. They are mechanically perfect knives, okay? The blade edge, the blade cuts, it's a super high-end steel, multi-row bearing system, you know, super customized, beautiful work, handmade to my specifications. All of these are less than $1,500, and they are perfect pieces. Look at this, less than $1,500. Why do I need to spend $10,000 on something that doesn't cost that much? Browse, stop saying browse. Don't talk about browse, dude. That's off limits. That's like, you're like cussing. I might have to ban you. They start to get too fancy to carry for me. That's true, and that is a thing. It's something that I worry about. This knife is pretty damn fancy, and I know that it's going to show wear. This blackened titanium, I think, is going to scratch up pretty nicely. Are you into sharpening your own knives? I do. I do sharpen my own knives, but only occasionally on the Spyderco Sharp Maker. Some of these higher-end knives I send out to get sharpened, actually. But let me talk to you about something else that I do. I use my knives pretty lightly. I don't really look... I don't really use my knives heavily. I'm not out there thwacking away at stumps and stuff like that to try to prove that these knives work really well. But all you need to do, go buy yourself a table strop or some kind of nice strop. This one I got from my buddy Preston over at Z Strops. I bought this from him. It's actually got my name written on there. I posted about this the other day. If you get yourself a nice strop and you get a nice sort of fine compound on there, this one's 3.5 micron. I bought some new compound. You can keep your knives perfectly sharp for a very, very long time. Yeah, won't bring up the B word, but a separate video is almost necessary at this point on the subject. Take a look at my video about browse blades, my very comprehensive and detailed discussion about whether or not to buy a browse knife. That's back on my channel. Oh, look at this, a chamois. That's nice. Earth is flat. Good. About all I do is strop. Yeah, that's pretty much all I need to do. The strop actually has this diamond paste on it, so it actually refines that edge, and it takes some knives into this absolutely incredible category. Take any of your stock knives. Take a knife that's bone stock and run it across a nice strop. You've got yourself a laser, a freaking unbelievable laser through anything. Earth is not only flat, but hollow. Really? Okay, that... Man... I don't understand you. Oh, face reveal. This thing is so shiny. Look at this thing. Unbelievably nice. Have you had a Millet Torrent? No, I haven't. I have not. You sent the Anthem back, yes? And the GM3, yes. I sent it. Oh, actually, no. It's in the back seat of my car right now. It's packed up. I didn't get an opportunity to go to the post office, but it's going back. I made the review videos, and those will start publishing pretty soon. All right. Questions, guys. Questions. Look what I have. Okay. I'm going to move the discussion along here. Want to do a video on how to strop, sharpening vid. What I'm going to recommend is go over to Spade's channel. Check out Spade Knife Works. He commented right on top of you, Bryce. And look at his video on how to strop. That's how I learned how to strop. So my video would basically just be a copy of his much better video because he's, you know, very smart about these things. So Spyderco Manix. Spyderco Manix 2. Blade HQ M4 edition. This knife was so good that I bought an extra one. I was going to give this knife to my brother for Christmas, but it was so good that I ended up keeping it. So if you have one of these, don't sell it. It's that good because they stopped making them. Yes, it does make me quite horny, and that's why I have both this knife and this knife in M4 steel. And I have every intention of getting the Shaman in M4 if and when they ever make that. But I did sell the Shaman. So you've asked me a couple of times what knives am I looking forward to coming up in the future. Tony, here's an answer to your question right here, bro. So I am very much looking forward to the ZT lineup. Every single year, I probably get the most excited about the ZT lineup. ZT and me, they just get me. They get me. I am the kind of guy that's going to buy a ZT. I'm into sort of the bigger, sort of more badass, sort of tactical looking things. And this 920, man, this is some nice stuff. This is one of the nicest knives of their 2017 lineup, and I'm convinced of it. This has that internal milling, super lightweight. Listen, super crazy action, just drops shut. Did you guys catch my surgery video? My most recent video where I did this? Put this hardware on there from Blades We Love. Very cool. This is a good one. ZT has a hot new collab coming out there with a European designer this year, next year. Sometime they're going to come out with something great, guys. I mean, they just are constantly doing the right thing. I am very excited about that. Other things that I'm excited about, we'll go back to Spyderco. Now, Spyderco's catalog is always a little bit strange because they always hold back in their catalog. And so people who express disappointment in the Spyderco catalog haven't been with Spyderco for long enough to understand that they actually send out an extremely vanilla catalog every single year. They always do that. They only talk about their mainstream knives. They take new pictures of the paramilitary and they line them up and they make them pretty. And they talk about the knives from the year before. But if there's anything that I can tell you, it's that Spyderco keeps a lot of things hidden from people. Oh, Sienkiewicz. Okay, good. Well, they did that. They had that this year, so I could go with another one. Can you do some Microtech videos? Bro, I've done 2 Microtech videos. In fact, here's a Microtech right now. We'll make a Microtech video. There, Microtech. Now this is suddenly a Microtech video. I can put that in the tags. Microtech. It does a body good. Dirty. Check it out. This is it. Star Wars. Boba Fett. I've been trying to sell this knife. No one wants to buy this knife. I'm going to take a hot steaming bath on this, guys. Look at this Boba Fett bead. This is freaking sweet, and nobody wants to buy this. It even has the bullet hole dent. Yeah. No, wonder why. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know. The sabotage, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. That's so expensive. Yeah, these knives are really hit or miss. Some people love them and some people don't. I have a feeling I'm going to be keeping this one for a lot longer. This knife, you know what I know what this knife is? This is the knife that I keep by my bed most nights. Because if I get into some shit, sorry for the language, if somebody comes into my apartment and they want to do something and I can't get to my gun fast enough, this thing is coming out. Because this is a deadly piece of steel. And so, I'm going to do that. Don't take the Microtech apart. Don't worry. I have absolutely no intention of ever taking this thing apart. Ever. Because of these screws. No intention. Not interested. Can I sell you my kidney for the Boba Fett out the front? No, I'm not taking kidneys at this time. Only dollars. Thank you. So, question time, guys. This is totally a casual hangout session. I'm just hanging out at home right now. I didn't have anything to do this evening, and so I was like, let's have a live feed. Let's talk. I was old enough to drink when the first Star Wars came out. That would make you approximately 300,000 years old, Tony. 300,000 years old. So let's see. Next knife. Next knife. Oh, man. I don't know, actually. I actually just reached the end of my anticipated purchases. With this servo showing up, I am suddenly out of knives that I have... Oh, actually, that's not true at all. There's always flux going on. So you want to know what my next knife is going to be? It is going to be the Brian Nadeau Mini Typhoon. Has anyone sharpened Maximet? Would a Lansky angled sharpener work? Probably, but it would take you forever, basically. I have a Maximet Mule. Here, I'll go get that. It's just sitting right over here. Yep, coming back. I'm still here. Okay, so bam, bam, bam. Maximet. Here's some Maximet. I thought you just had a Mini Typhoon. Yeah, I did have a Mini Typhoon. But again, just like some of these other knives, I did not spec that knife out the way that I wanted to. That knife just kind of fell into my lap. And so I just kind of dealt with it. And I had it. And I ended up selling it to Nico because I wanted money for another knife. But when Brian released the video the other day of the pictures of that dragon scale, I picked that guy up. I was like, yes, I need that knife in my life. And he put it in green, so it's coming in bright green, and it's going to be incredible. I've got him doing a crazy finish on a blade for me. Where do I sell my knives? I sell them on Instagram sometimes. If they don't sell on Instagram quickly, I sell them on blade forums. Those are my two outlets. Other than that, I don't really do that. So, someone asked about Maximet steel. This is my Spyderco Mule team right here. This is easily my most used knife. By far, my most used knife. I use this around the house. This opens every single package that comes into my house. And it's incredible. And I've loved the Mule team so much that I just bought a new one. This is actually, check this out. First person to comment on what steel this is wins a high five from me. Yep. Great steel right here. That's right. I'm very excited about this one. And take a look at these handles. Full carbon fiber, 3D milled. If you guys don't know, there you go. LC200N, there you go. Knife Man Zach, you get the high five, bro. Good job. So LC200N is an awesome steel. So I've been excited about a lot of these nitrogen steels recently. I'm going to bring out a few other knives so we can actually talk about that. This has been something that I've been looking forward to making for the last few weeks. And we'll move some of these guys out of the way for just a second. And we'll talk about these different nitrogen steel knives. So, what is a nitrogen steel? Okay, let's talk about what steel is. So steel is iron with a considerable amount of carbon content. Carbon makes it much stronger and much harder, okay? So, and then it forms these sort of crystalline configurations that we call carbides. Carbides being the chemical crystalline structure of what these steels are. And so whenever we talk about these things and why a steel needs to have these carbides and what makes a good carbide and what doesn't, it's all chemistry. And this is more of that geekiness that I get into about knives and why I'm into knives to begin with. So carbon, in combination with some of these other elements, infused with iron, makes these steels. But what happens if you put nitrogen into that mixture? Well, nitrogen has some very similar bonding properties to carbon, especially in that crystalline sort of matrix of a steel. And so all of these come with nitrogen-based steels. So these two are Nitro V. This is a steel that's coming out of a New Jersey company. And so, of course, Chuprin got his hands on it. Michael Gavik has his hands on it. This is a new steel. It's like AEBL, but it's got nitrogen. AEBL is a knife maker's dream. That steel forms incredibly sharp edges. It's a very, very nice crystalline structure. This one now has nitrogen, and it's developed to actually become harder, and it's got the nitrogen. So what does nitrogen allow to happen? It prevents corrosion. And so not only do you get very hard steels, very tough steels, but you get incredibly corrosion resistant steels. Now, if you guys don't have the Z Knives Steel app, you should go pick that up immediately. If you should go download it. I think it's free. The Z Knives Steel app. It's amazing to me when you start analyzing these steels on a chemical level, you start to understand kind of what's going on underneath the skin. Take, for instance, Vanax. Okay, this is Vanax 35. This is not really commercially made anymore. They used to make Vanax 75 and Vanax 35, and they took the science that they figured out from those two steels. Now they make Vanax 37. But if you can imagine a chemical composition that is M390 with nitrogen to replace most of the carbon, you get Vanax 35. This is essentially a nitrogen M390. And so you get these nice carbides, you get a fine grain structure, you get nice hardness and toughness, and now you add the corrosion resistance of using a nitrogen-based steel. What's not to love about this? This is absolutely breathtaking. It's incredible. Right here, we've got LC200N. This is its own sort of formulation, but LC200N is strong enough to be used as the ball bearings in NASA's different devices that go up into space. Incredibly tough and incredibly corrosion resistant. So I've got my lineup of nitrogen steels. I've been geeking out over this recently. I've actually, in learning about nitrogen steels, it sort of pushed me to another level of understanding knives. I've been studying sort of composition and like crystalline structure and carbide structure and trying to understand it on that level. That's, again, one of the main things that sort of gets me off about knives is all of the chemical stuff that's going on. So I love that. So let's see. You guys like LC200N? This knife has proven time and time again, this blade steel has proven time and time again to be very effective. Would I ever design a knife? Well, absolutely, my friend. Let me show you something. Let's see. Probably a couple of months ago, I actually sat down and drew a couple of knives, just kind of screwing around. I think I could design a pretty damn good one. These are just some random freehand drawings I have sitting around. And then this was not a this was actually the Olamic Wayfarer. I just kind of sketched that one out. I think I could probably design one, but no active plans right now. Any steel ever disappoint? Yes, two steels have disappointed me. AUS 8, which would not take a good edge, and 440C from Boker Plus would also not take a good edge at all. Those two steels have been extreme disappointments to me, but pretty much everything else that I've ever had has been perfectly adequate. AUS 8 and 440C, no, they're bad. But everything else has been more than adequate and held a perfect edge for as long as I can think. This Nitro V right here, man, whoo, that'll take a crazy edge. If Nate's still in here, I'm going to give him a shout out. This is Spade Knife Works edge right here. The one disappointment that I had in this knife is that the edge was not quite what I was hoping it would be, but he's put a hyper edge on there. Unbelievable. VG10 makes me sad. That should be made by ZT. Which one should be made by ZT? The BBM? Maybe so. Okay, guys, what do you want to talk about? Still hanging out, still having fun, enjoying myself. I'm going to bring this knife out again because I literally just got it. And it's beautiful. Look at that. Straight out of the box. Let me show you again what this knife has. Tony, you're in here, dude. Look at this. Timascus. Why is your name Dr. Frunky? That's not a stupid question. It's just a stupid name. It's literally a stupid name that I made up one day as an Xbox handle, and then I used it as, well, I had a different name. Actually, my Xbox handle is just Frunky, and then when I made this channel, I just called it Dr. Frunky, not expecting for anybody ever to listen to what the heck I had to say, and here we are. Flipper versus thumb stud versus Spidey hole. 100% Spidey flick. That's my favorite opening mechanism. Opinions on Custom Knife Factory. They make an excellent knife, but they're all really, really weird. And so I usually don't buy them. I actually have a video coming up on the CKF Gavco spinner collaboration, so keep an eye out for that one. That'll come out sometime in the next couple of weeks. What's up, Tim? Welcome, dude. Tim being one of the original contributors to the channel. VIP in the house right now. Welcome, dude. Welcome. We're just talking about a whole lot of things. If you're just coming in, Tim, I did a reveal on this guy right here. Definitely did a reveal on the Brown Knives Servo Dr. Frunky edition right there. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the beginning here. Face reveal there. Yeah, you guys are going to see my face. One of these days, you're going to see my stupid face. I'm not trying to hide it all that hard. It's just that, you know, you guys don't want to see some ugly dude talking about knives. Honestly, you just want to see the knives, and that's the way it's going to stay for the foreseeable future. Plenty of videos where I get a sneak face reveal by the reflection in the in there. Who are some of your favorite YouTube peeps? Okay, favorite YouTube peeps. Obviously Nick Shabazz. Nick Shabazz is a very opinionated dude with some very small hands and a very delicate sense of what a knife should be. He'd probably love this tiny ass knife. This knife is 2.5 inches, and he's great. But not really my opinion, and that's what's so nice. I think every knife channel has its value. Some people are very good at presenting, and some people really aren't. But every knife channel has its value in the sense that everybody has different hands, and everybody is going to have a different opinion about every different knife. And so it's nice to get multiple opinions. Advanced Knife Bro is one of my favorites. That guy seriously needs to be on like 3 antidepressants, but he's funny as hell, and he actually does very, very good reviews. His video editing skills are off the chart. You know, he deserves all of his followers. He puts a lot more effort into his videos than I possibly could. I don't have time for that, unfortunately, but he makes great videos. Jim Skelton, one of the greats, definitely one of the guys that influenced me to get into it. Actually, this is a knife from him right now, the Prometheus Design Works Invictus. Definitely cool. Oh, Stasa. Stasa, bro. Stasa. Check this out, man. It got here. The Annex. You should baton with the BBM. I'm not going to do that, my friend. What would my first USA... Did I just lose? Like, I just totally lost my train of thought about what I was talking about. Other people that I like. You know who I like on YouTube? Civvy, TZVY. That dude is crazy Frenchman. He's got some crazy knives, and he's a really amazing personality. Enjoy that guy. Stasa23, man. You got to check his channel out. Fellow Louisiana brother over here doing some knife therapy with some people. Absolutely love that channel, man. He is a humble dude. He is just a dude, man. He's just a guy with a reasonable opinion. He carries and uses these knives, and definitely a reasonable voice in the crowd. It's nice to see people that give honest opinions of knives. Too many people are just trying to, it seems like, sell stuff all the time. I'm really not trying to sell anything. Nobody pays me. Nobody does me any real favors. I don't get any discounts. I pay full price for all of these knives. I don't get anything out of it except just having fun talking to you guys. So that's about it. Chris Reeve Knives. Oh, there we go. Inkosi. That's about how exciting the action is on that guy. Let's see. Stasa. What's happening? Liar. Tov. Tovarish. Dude. Okay, dudes. Dudes. Clear your minds. Clear the table. Tovarish is here. Echo's not here right now, but listen. We are starting a knife podcast, and I'm going to be in it. Thanks to Tove, absolutely, we're going to get into this stuff. We're starting a knife podcast. We're going to start putting this out on a sort of, I don't even know, what, a monthly basis, weekly basis, maybe a weekly basis. Me, Tovarish, and Echo Does Knives are all going to sort of get together and make this happen. Chill, bro. Yeah, chill. I'm not chill. There's no chill about this. I'm actually that excited about it, man. And it's going to be sweet. We're going to talk about knives. We're going to get some guys on there to talk about it with us. We're going to try to get some makers on to talk to us, and it should be pretty sweet. I hope you guys enjoy that kind of stuff. I've never actually done a podcast, and I probably should start listening to some of those other guys that are doing it right now to see what they're doing. Oh, Shirogorov back in the house. Between him and Nico. Yeah, Echo owns about all of the Gavcos that have come out in the last year. All of the high-end Timascus Gavco Tigers, Echo owns all of them. Absolutely. Shirogorov, dudes. Sigma. Tiniest flipper in the world. Look how small that thing is. You basically do it already, just with your hands. He's stalking me for mine. Do it. When did your knife addiction start? Tove is the African knife maker, Sinosure. Even I don't know what that word means. I thought I was smart. Interesting. So Tove over there loves himself some South African knives. I think if he and I were hanging out, the first knives that I would show Tovarish over there are these two. I think he would probably faint, and then he would probably jizz himself. Maybe in the reverse order of that, but that's totally fine. Jason Guthrie Scout. Copper Shred, Carbon Fiber. Absolutely. Connoisseur. Damn, autocorrect. There you go. Connoisseur. He does know. And then, of course, the Gareth Bull Shamwari. I'm going to give you guys a face reveal. Can you see my face? Let me see. Oh. There's my face. There's my face. I'm wearing glasses. I'm wearing glasses. Okay. Love that JG Scout. Absolutely amazing. It is, dude. It totally is. Beautiful knives. So South African knives, guys, they know how to make pretty knives. I'll give them that much. They have design down to a science. They have art down to a science. Does that make sense? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Dudes, an hour and 18 minutes in. Still having fun. Still having fun. Every other day with the podcasts? I don't think so, man. Do you know how hard it is to make these videos? To actually get these things off the ground? This takes forever. Are the Shiros the smoothest flippers you own besides the Shamwari? So, good question. The Shamwari is the smoothest knife in the history of smooth knives. Okay? Nothing else even comes remotely close to this knife. This is the smoothest knife in the history of knives. Okay? This thing floats. It's like it's on electromagnets. I would say that the Brown Knives Servo is extremely close to that, and it will be after it's broken in. Look at this. Wait. Oh, there it goes. Just dropped shut. And the Koenig Arius, which is for whatever stupid reason I don't have on the screen right now, is also in that category of free falling. So, I would say the Koenig Arius, the Brown Knives Servo, and the... what is this? Gareth Bull Shamwari all fall into the absolute smoothest knives category. Absolutely. Just look at this thing, though. Look at this thing. You can see my face. Look, you can see the entire phone. That is a beautiful finish. Gareth Bull needs a business manager. Nothing wrong with the knives. Everything else is lacking. That's fairly true. That is fairly true. He has some trouble. He was nice to me. He kept in touch with me when I bought the knife. But some of the horror stories that I hear are not so awesome. Anyone up for some blackened and then green anodized Damascus? Because that's what's on this knife. The Norseman is supposed to be insane, but this knife is going to be every bit as smooth as a Norseman right here. This is sort of like a new Norseman in a sense. Actually, if Vinny Nero was here, Nero Knives, he'd be giving me hell because he says that my pivot copied the Norseman. But while it's very similar, it didn't really copy it. I mean, people have been putting designs on pivots forever, but it is what it is. I'd like to see some of your opinions on more sub-$100 knives, especially after handling all these beauties. It's hard for me to get excited about a sub-$100 knives, and I'm not going to lie. Whenever I get one in hand, I'm like, man, I wish that I had a better knife with me. And so I want to keep my content sort of positive, and so doing sort of knives that I don't get excited about is a hard thing for me to do because I end up making negative reviews, and I hate making negative reviews. I really don't. I do it, but I really don't like doing it because it always makes somebody upset, whether it's the knife maker or the designer or somebody involved, to somebody who really loves that. So it's tough. We'll see. Any new of the Benchmade mini knives for 18 now? Oh, good question. Great question. Point number one. Benchmade needs to get their act together with their quality control. Okay? I just did a review on the Benchmade Anthem, and it made my top 5 list because of all the innovations, but it was off-center. How am I going to buy a $420 knife that's off-center? The Gemini was sub-100. The Gemini was a great knife. I had the Boker Lateralis on here recently, but you know, I'm not saying all knives sub-100 are not going to be exciting to me, but just some of them just don't quite do it for me, so finding them. But Benchmade, back to Benchmade, they have got to get their act together. They have got to get their act together. I'm scared to order a Benchmade. I've had 20 Benchmades, 30 Benchmades that I've seen in my life, okay? Probably, if I saw 30 of them, 20 of them were off-center. You know, it's one thing that if you have 1 in 100 knives go bad, okay? Take Riot, for example. I had the Starboy on recently, and I actually had quality control issues from Riot. That's the first time I've ever seen that from Riot, and so I qualified that in my video. I still called the Starboy the best Tashi EDC design because I thought so, even though I had quality control issues, but that's rare, and no one else has had issues except for me. Benchmade, everyone has problems with Benchmade. Those knives are always bad. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. They make it bad. On the other side of things, something that I am excited about from Benchmade, and something that actually usually ends up in a good knife, is the customizer. I don't know if you guys saw this on the Instagram feed of Benchmade earlier today, but they're going to offer customizing options for some of these mini knives, and they actually showed the mini Crooked River, and that knife looks awesome. I actually really like the design of the regular Crooked River, but a mini design might actually be really nice, and the customizer looks like you're going to have a lot of options in terms of making it be what you want it to be. So I may end up picking up a mini Crooked River that I customize in their builder. I'm honestly thinking about that. Other than that, all the rest of the minis, honestly, like, I don't understand how Benchmade stays in business by making 38 copies of what is essentially a Benchmade Griptilian. I don't understand. I don't understand. Who's buying all of these knives that are basically iterations of either the Griptilian or the mini Griptilian? You know, they made that knife, and then they just make a whole bunch of other knives that are exactly the same. Robert McKinnon. Bro, we can definitely see the bounty hunter, dude. We can see the bounty hunter. This was out here earlier. Coming back out for you. Yep. Live and direct. Bounty hunter. With the Boba Fett bead. Very cool. Very cool. Shaking my head. I know. I know. Who knows? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Next question. Next question. You guys got me off on a tangent there about Benchmades. Yo, from Texas. Quick thoughts on the Anax. Okay, quick thoughts on the Anax. I just picked this knife up. Awesome integral. Very nicely made. The quality is exceptional here. You can feel it in everything about this knife, but it's not quite as smooth as I was hoping it would be. I have watched a lot of videos of guys finger flicking this thing open. It's not quite as smooth as I thought. I think this might be running on washers. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I don't know. I can't tune the... And the main problem is I can't tune this knife because look at this damn pivot. Who does this? Who does this? This is a mean person. A very mean-spirited person made this pivot. It's not very nice, honestly. Beautifully made, stupid hardware. I wish it was a little bit smoother. And the blade, even though it came extremely sharp, is a little bit weird. And this is a little bit very murdery, I guess Nick Shabazz would call it. This is about as angry as a knife can look. But honestly, I like it. I really do like it a lot. Even with all of those flaws, it's a very unique piece. And I'm very thrilled to have this in hand. So thanks to Stasa and my buddy Nico for sending this one along. I've had not great customer service with Marfione. I don't really know. I don't really know. That's a FU pivot. That's right. Interesting thing about this knife, actually, since you asked, take a look at that configuration around the blade and the pivot. What does that remind you of? Yeah, that's right. It does remind you of this. Look at that. Uh-huh. Can you front flip the Anax? Absolutely. You can front flip the Anax. It's very difficult because the detent is hard and the action is not good. But, did it. I also hit my camera. But you can front flip that thing, which is actually kind of cool. But, again, if you go back and watch my front flipper video, this does not have really the characteristics of a good front flipper. The detent is far too strong and the action far too rough for it to be a good front flipper. Marfione. His knives are beautiful. He makes some good stuff. I mean, take these guys. These things are actually very well made. When I bought these, when I had the Ultratech and the UTX 85 on my channel, I was actually really impressed with how well these things were made. And it actually is what inspired me to go ahead and pick this knife up right here. So very, very cool. This is actually very well made. There's a lot less blade play than you might think on this. Much less than the smaller knives. Now I'm just playing with stuff. My 3-inch Samurai has a hidden pivot hardware, which I hadn't noticed in the past. They look cheap until you touch one. That's actually the truth. They look a little bit gas station-y. This looks a little funky, but man, in hand, this feels, this feels every bit as solid as a Peter Rosenti Nirvana. Look how ridiculously similar these two knives are. Very, very similar. Integral handles, almost the same dimensions. Interesting stuff, Tony Marfione. Interesting stuff. People say that he doesn't copy anyone, but he fucking copies people, okay? Let's just be honest. He does. I find my knives on washers take way less maintenance. That's true. I refuse to buy a Microtech because of Marfione. He's nice enough. 8,000% markups. You're totally correct about that. How do you get the green on the Aries? How did I get the green on the Aries? I ordered it that way. The Arius. The next Spyderco Rosenti could be a Paysan. There's no question, sir. It will be a Paysan. It will be a Paysan. That is an absolute fact. People who have been following Spyderco, and if you've ever been to one of those meetings, it's basically going to happen. Do you prefer bearings or washers for your knives? Me, I prefer bearings because I'm not a hard use kind of a guy. I don't really need to pry stuff open all the time, and so I don't really need the added sort of heavy-duty nature that that washers bring. And all too often, washers are not done the right way. Now, there are a lot of knives out there, like this Jason Guthrie Scout, that is perfectly done on washers, incredibly smooth. But I tend to be, oops, I hit that again. I tend to be a ball bearing guy because it's smoother. And let's be real, my knives have certainly started trending towards more of the pocket jewelry type of category. And so I want them to be smooth and fun to play with because I don't cut a ton of stuff all the time. I mean, I'm not some like Rambo dude who's out there killing people or hunting or surviving in the wild. I'm just sort of doing light duty cutting, so that's why. Let's not talk about the Matrix or Natrix. Let's not do that. Am I in the minority that I prefer thumb studs, grooves over flippers? Absolutely. You are not in the minority. To be honest, I think that the pendulum is starting to swing the other way right now. I actually like the Spider Flick a whole lot. ZT Marfione cage match. In the modern market, yes, at Texas Knives, but that's not a bad thing. Anyways, the Spider Flick is my favorite deployment method. I would love to see more knives with Spidey holes or something like that, or fullers that can be deployed like this. I like that. I like thumb studs as well. I think that the flipper movement is going to start dying off. I mean, they're going to be around, but I think that we're going to see the pendulum swing back the other way. You know, I think that that's sort of what we're seeing with the rise of the front flipper. People are tired of the index flipper. They're not tired of it, they're just kind of bored with it because every single knife for the last like 10 years has had that, and so it's just sort of been doing that. So I will be excited to see, especially if a company like ZT comes out this year with some knives that have non-index flippers. I think they did a good thing with the 0850 last year in coming out with a thumb stud knife on washers. That was really nice. That's pretty cool. This is a perfect knife, by the way, 0392. How about we bring out this guy? He hasn't been on camera yet tonight. My Gavco has a flipper, and I always use the thumb stud. You have no idea, man. I'm so thankful that this knife is not a flipper. This knife is spectacular just with the thumb stud. I totally botched the deployment there, but it's amazing. Hey, Frank. Whoa, Echo's here now, dude. So, you got all three of us now. Tove is in here, I'm in here, and Echo's in here. The three of us are going to start a podcast. Braz, I hope you guys want to listen to that stuff. Oh, yeah. I'm live on here, so I'm not getting any texts. Have I tried the 0260? Yes, I've handled one. Not a huge fan, I'm not going to lie. That one is way too heavy duty for me. The action is not very nice. The steel is nice. They made them an M390 and 204P, but just not the knife for me. A little bit too aggressive. Not a huge fan of the Emerson sort of aggressive look. It's just a little bit too much for me. And I don't really like the pivot either. I don't have a giant freaking tool to take that thing apart, wrench or anything. Ever thought about picking up a McNeese Custom? I don't know a lot about them, so I can't really say much. I'll have to pay attention to it. I'm late. What's up, Perry? You're not late, dude. I've just been talking for an hour and a half in a row. Perry Trucker, everybody. That guy owns my 0055 right now, and he is about to get the Starboy sent to him. That's coming. So Echo and Perry, you guys are late to the show. You get to see the reveal here. I'm going to do it again. Check out my servo, bros. Check out my servo. I hope you're drinking if you're talking this long. I'm drinking water, dudes. I got to just drink water. Gonna have to rewatch this one. It's a long video, but we have been over a whole lot of different points. We have been north, south, east, and west. We've been over to Croatia. We touched on Croatia for a little while. Went to South Africa for a minute, up to New York, over to Idaho. Where is this? Idaho. Here's some more Idaho. Somewhere in Florida. Russia. We went everywhere. We went around the freaking world. He's a motherfucking star boy. That's right. Oh, Craig. Craig Brown, everybody. Craig Brown in the house. Dude. Dude. Dude, this knife is so cool. Craig Brown made me this knife, dudes. He's in the house. I want you to understand, Craig, this is amazing, okay? This knife is incredible. I need everybody to understand that Craig is somebody that you need to watch, okay? The Grimsmo brothers, they came out with a CNC knife, and it was all hot shit and all that stuff. The Norseman is a silly knife compared to this. This is such a functional knife. This is like It's got the blade of a, whoa, the servo started as a front flipper. Do it, Brown. You got to do it, man. That would be so cool. Let me read what you said. Is a front flipper as fun to flip as a traditional flipper? The servo started out as a front flipper. You know what, Craig? You should go back on my channel, a couple of videos. I actually made a video talking about that. Will you review of 0562? Yes. I talked about front flippers. I think that front flippers are fun, but I think that they are not going to have as much preference to the index flippers. What I was saying is that in an emergency situation or a difficult situation, the dexterity required to open a front flipper is a little bit troubling. But I think on these knives that are super high-end, I think this could have been pretty cool as a front flipper. That could have been actually very neat. But the servo flipper, you did a good job engineering this thing. It's nice, man. That jimping helps on it too. Look how smooth this thing is, guys. Okay, we're going to go over some features on this knife. I'm going to do a mini review right now. An hour and a half into this. Mini review. Brown Servo, Frunky Edition. CPM 154 blade, full flat ground. Incredibly sharp. Let's move some of these knives off the screen here. Start looking at this one a little bit harder. I have so many knives right now. Move these guys over here. Keep watching. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. Let's watch this. Okay, move this stuff. Move all this stuff. So many knives. So little time. So much fun. Here we go. We got the Arius. Move the Prometheus. We get the get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Good. Let's leave two knives on the screen. Okay. My two newest acquisitions: the Koenig Knives Arius and the Brown Servo. Okay. This servo, incredible, man. This is the smoothest knife that you will ever encounter. The Norseman was smooth. This knife is absolutely as smooth as anything in the entire world. And this is just out of the box. I literally just opened this. Incredible stuff. Beautiful blade. This is his second hand rub satin blade ever. CPM 154. Hey, Craig, you're in here still, I hope. I thought you were making blades in RWL 34. This knife is in CPM 154. That's totally cool with me. I love CPM 154. Some of my absolute favorite knives in the world are in 154. It's one of my favorite steels. Takes a beautiful edge and it polishes up nicely. This is done in 154 as well. But that was an interesting change. Hand rub satin going on here. Beautiful. Frunky pivot. Frunky frickin' pivot. Look at that skull. So cool. I sent him that logo and he totally made it for me. That's absolutely awesome. And of course we have the spine on there. The human spine, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah, dude. Tony, get yours out. You need a front green Pelican that I got. Tove, dude. Do you think this is amateur hour, bro? Tove, give me a break. Come on, dude. Had this. Been there. I'm still here. The CPM 154 are similar, but I was running into issues with RWL. What were the issues, my friend? I'd be interested to know what those issues were. They are chemically very similar. RWL is kind of based on that from what I understand, but it's interesting. Hope you're not going to perform actual surgery with this thing. No, sir. No, sir. I do not perform any surgeries with this, but I do use it around the hospital. You'd be surprised how often you need to cut things in the hospital. You got to open boxes. You got to cut some sutures. You got to do some things. 154 is a great steel. CPM 154 is great. Pitting after heat treat and voids. That doesn't sound very good, dude. This knife is beautiful. This knife is beautiful. Hand rub set. You almost got this to a mirror polish, dude. It's incredible. I've been showing people my face all night with this thing. Hold on, we're going to do it right now. Face reveal. 2 seconds of face reveal. 1 millisecond of face reveal. Just for you guys. Just for you guys who have stuck around for an hour and 40 minutes. Probably no one in here has been here for an hour and 40 minutes. But if you have, you're my friend. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Questions. Questions. Ask Craig Brown something. He made me this knife. He made this knife. I got to get the other servo out here. Look at this. The other steel option is Damasteel. Bros, look at this. Thor Damasteel. Someone that comes out with an integral knife first has some balls. I'm pretty sure that one of his balls is 6AL4V titanium, and the other ball is Damasteel. That's how like high quality his balls are. Doc, did you consider Damasteel on the servo? Yes, I did, but I prefer this significantly. I like a nice clean blade. I love just the raw look of regular steel, and all that stuff. Been here since the notification. I have a knife addiction problem. Thanks, dude. Thanks for sticking around the whole time. I appreciate that. But look at these knives, okay? Since Craig is in the room, we're gonna have a feature on his knives right now, and we can just have a chat about them. You should wear a Batman mask like Nick does. I don't care if people see my face, dude. I am honestly not that upset. If anyone tried for half a second on my Instagram, you could find a picture of my face in no time. It's really not that hard. My friends keep tagging me with with that on there, and I'm not hiding my face. Like I said earlier, no one wants to see my damn face. Is the one with the flattened detent, is that the one with the flattened detent ball? Yes. Been here for a while, nothing better to do than harass Frunky. You are a little troll over there, Wizards. It's true, but we like it. It's okay. 550 ain't bag for the Craig. That's nice. I'm almost out, Frank. Last question. Oh man. Craig, do you have any plans for your next knife, or how many runs of the servo do you think you might do based on current interest? Those are my two questions. Are you going to do more servos, or are you going to move on to a new model? Talk to me about that. Now, I'll just tell you, neither of these knives cost $550. Both of these have some significant upgrades, guys, so don't be fooled. You can get a totally plain one for $550, but these had some significant upgrades, especially mine. This one costs a whole lot more than $550, bros. So, yeah, that is a thing. Absolutely. Who's still talking? Who's here? Amazing price. I'd be totally cool with the plain one. Absolutely, because on the plain one, what you're going to get is a stone-washed blade. Absolutely beautiful stone-washed blade and a stone-washed handle. All the stuff is basically the same. You're going to get the clip and all that stuff. Absolutely. $600, you're going to get yourself a full custom. This one, of course, you know, Craig took some time on this one, man. Yes, next knife is in the beginning stages of designs. Servo I'll be making for another 6 months. Well, dude, Craig, I will just say you knocked it out of the park on this one. You are a guy to watch. I did not have the parabolic. I wasn't as addicted to knives as I am right now, as the parabolic was coming around, so I didn't get it. But this knife is incredible, dude. This is a forever knife for me. I'm never going to get rid of this thing. Thank you so much for dropping by tonight, man, and answering some questions. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for an amazing knife. A lifetime keeper knife. Thank you so much, man. I hope you get some rest. I know you've been working hard today, dude. Thank you. Which one of these do you guys like? Talk to me. This one is Nico's. This one is mine. Differences. We got these new pieces going on. We got the lock bar stabilizers. Mine's got a Damascus clip. His has a Damasteel back spacer. There you can see it there. Mine has a Damascus back spacer. Very cool. You like mine? You like the Damasteel better? Good. I welcome all opinions. The Damasteel looks good. The Damasteel looks really good. It looks really good. I hesitate about using Damasteel, though. I know they say that it's made to use, but I kind of hesitate. I would be hesitant to use it. I'm not sure that I want it on my knife. It's a little bit flashy. I really enjoy the nice clean look of steel right here. They are both amazing. Neither one of these are bad. I'm just asking, you know, kind of, what do you want to see? Yeah, Phil, you get me, dude. I don't like busy blades either. I kind of like the clean look going on there. But he kept it tasteful. He kept the blade a little bit complicated, and he made the handle nice and plain, so it actually kind of just draws attention to the blade. So that is a tasteful touch. I like that. Gonna drink some water here, dudes. Talking for an hour and 45 minutes. That'll put a strain on the voice right there. I'm having a lot of fun here, though. Mini Typhoon is pretty sweet. Got one with a Harpoon Swedge American Tanto. That's my next knife, actually. I'm getting another Mini Typhoon with that dragon scale that he showed a couple weeks ago. I definitely bought that. I've just basically spent all of my life savings on knives, and I'm just basically going to go bankrupt doing this for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. No one is paying me, and I'm not about to open a Patreon. No one wants to pay me to do this. Blade shape is a total win. Damascus equals Damasteel. Look at Tove making a face. Yes, Damasteel is Damascus steel. Damasteel is just a company called Damasteel AB. They're, what, a German company? Austrian company? Something like that. They just make this stainless Damascus, and they call it Damasteel. So that's it. Damascus, though, is classically not stainless. You know, it might be one stainless steel and one non-stainless, or two non-stainless steels. But technically, if you just use the word Damascus steel being two different types of steels forged together, technically this is Damascus steel, but it's stainless Damascus. Sweden, that's right, Sweden. There you go, close to Germany. Similar German stuff going on. Holy crap, though, this is a nice knife, dude. So, definitely cool. What else? Here's some more Damasteel. Let's bust out some more Damasteel. You guys want to talk Damasteel? Let's talk Damasteel. I made this post on my Instagram a few days ago. Aren't we having fun here, guys? Aren't we having fun? Check out all the Damasteel. Is there color popping from the milled spine pattern in your show scale? No, there's no color. It's powdered steel. Only powdered Damascus in the biz, I think, which is what really sets them apart. If you call Swedes similar to a German, they will stab you with two different steels. Well, you might know that better than I do, my friend. So let's talk Damasteel. Let us talk about Damasteel. So we've established that they're a Swedish brand. They are a couple of crazy dudes that are making these forge-welded Damascus steels. And so here are a couple of patterns. I put this picture up on my Instagram not too long ago, and you guys kind of voted. It actually turned out that the Rose Damasteel turned out to be the most popular, but here are three patterns that they make. This is the Thor pattern, which is, in my opinion, the coolest name of all of their different Damasteels. Look at this, big waves, some big swirls, you know, very, very nice looking, but irregular. No repeating patterns going on here. You know, they're similar patterns, but it's just all swoopy. This one is on the Dahle Bore Helios right here. This one is called Vinland. So a little bit tighter grouping. A little bit tighter grouping on that. Still wavy, still totally erratic, you know, all over the place. No repeated patterns going on there. A little bit tighter configuration than the Thor. And then the Rose Damasteel. The Rose Damasteel was the most popular one because look at those tight little rosettes that they've got going on in that pattern. It's beautiful. And in case you were wondering, can you feel the variations? Barely, but yes. Especially if you run your fingernail across it, you can totally feel the little differences. Damasteel would not be an ideal user knife for me. That's exactly why I did not get it on my servo, because it's pretty, but and they say that you can use it, but it would just be one more thing that would prevent me from ever using the knives, and I like to use my knives. I have every intention of using this knife, and I want to use it regularly with the things that I do. I do fairly light-duty cutting tasks, so, you know, that's a thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some paper here. Check out the factory edge on this. I haven't actually cut anything with this yet. Let's see how this does. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's totally me just fucking up on the camera. Oh, no, I'm screwing up. Here we go. Whoop. I'm totally just fucking this up on the camera right now, making this not look good. Well, no, we just got to get some paper. Sorry, dudes. Screwing this up. Well, never mind. We're going to do that another time. That's why I don't cut on camera, because I'm no good at cutting on the camera. See you later, Tex. General Chem. Study hard, bro. Eggerling quilted Damascus is insane. That stuff is pretty nuts. I like the rose, but the Odin's eye looks cool. I also like the wave pattern. That's pretty nice. Just reading through some of these messages. Does etching start to show signs of wear on the Damasteel when you use it? Will it wear off? To be honest, I don't know, my friend, but I'm not about to start trying. Yeah. It is a thing. It totally is a thing, dudes. Well, listen, I'm not sure that I've got a whole lot more time to keep doing this right now. We're almost at 2 hours, so I'm going to open this up to one last round of questions, and maybe I can get off on some tangent again for you guys. So shoot with some questions, dudes. Shoot with some questions. I'll bring out a couple more knives. Maybe this will spur some discussion. Shiro Sigma, Koenig Arius, some of the best knives in the world on my table right now. Strider knives. Strider knives have not really ever appealed to me. They're cool. I think mixed Strider customs are insane looking, but they're a bit too angry looking. They don't look like very good everyday carry knives for what I need every day. If I do a live stream, will you come? Sure, Ben. Why not? Can I borrow your Sigma? Absolutely not, dude. Would a Spyderco front flipper with a Spidey hole win? That would be a fun knife, wouldn't it? Think about this Shaman. What if the Shaman's detent allowed it to be a front flipper? Then it definitely would be a PM2 killer because it would be very much fun. Should I buy a Koenig to go with my Sabinza and Nkosi? 100% you should buy a Koenig Arius. Just no question. To go with whatever. You want to buy a Koenig Arius to go with your car. You want to buy an Arius to go with your breakfast. You wanted to buy an Arius to go with your girlfriend. Basically, it's pretty cool. Skaha. I have one of those coming from a friend of mine. So, yes. I'm going to review that knife. I don't know much about it, but I'm going to learn about it, and then I'm going to review one. Thoughts on small EDC fixed blades? Unfortunately, I'm not going to really be able to get into that very much. I use this knife the absolute most. This technically is sort of a small EDC fixed knife, but I don't carry this knife. I don't carry a fixed blade. I need a folding knife with a pocket clip that I can put into my pocket or into my waistband to hide it from everyone else. I work in scrubs all day, and I am not about to walk around with a fixed blade hanging out on my waist. That just would not go over well in the hospital, and I don't think patients particularly want to see that I'm carrying a big-ass knife around. I try to be subtle about it. Some people are going to be scared. Let's see. Koenig Vader version looks amazing. Idaho made as well. That's true. DDR knives. DDR knives, they're okay. They're a little bit over the top. They look really nicely made. I would love to handle one sometimes, and maybe I could sometime, and I could be convinced, but something about the design seems a little, how shall I put this, gas station-y? I don't know how to say it. It just looks a little bit too, like, look at me, look at me. It's not really in an artistic way. You know, some of these knives are flashy, but they're not quite in that same way. I'd love to try one, but I do it. Should you buy a PM2 Maximet brand new for cost? LOL. Absolutely. Why not? Well, to be honest, I don't know how much they jacked up the price of the Maximet PM2. So all of these knives, they jacked up the price of the Shaman like fucking $40. Sorry for the cuss word, but it happens. I wish that they hadn't done that. They're going to ruin the Shaman. People are going to completely stop buying the Shaman now. And my video makes me look like a poop because I'd said that it was a PM2 killer, and now it's like $50 more expensive than the PM2, and that kills me. 8% map bump, it went up by $30. It went from $150 to $180. It increased by 20%. I mean, why? Why did they do that? It wasn't 8%. It wasn't 5% on the Shaman. It was freaking 20%. I don't understand why they did that. Any other hobbies outside of knives, like cars or video games? I play the guitar, and my other hobby is that I am a neurosurgeon, and that takes all of the rest of my time, all of the time. So knives and brain and spine surgery, basically, is what I do. So, yep, that's why this knife is so freaking sweet to me. This is both of my hobbies in one. What kind of car do I have? I have a Toyota 4Runner. Super exciting. What's your favorite food? Mason Scarborough? Bro, what's happening, dude? Typing in all caps. Indian food? I like Indian food. That's pretty good. Persian food is a close second. FYI, I'm half Persian, just so, you know, surprise. Brain. Brain. Yes, I do brain surgery. I did brain surgery this week, matter of fact. True story. And spine. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Oh, man. Well, guys, we're almost to 2 hours. More questions. Almost done here. I'm running out of voice, but I'm trying my best. My ex was half Iranian. Yep, see? That's why. I bet she was hot as shit, though, Tony. Hot as shit. How many licks until you get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? You really are autistic, aren't you, brother? Interesting. I don't know. I fucking bite those things. Favorite knife in my collection? Do you know how hard that question is to answer right now? This one? This one. Thoughts on Iranian protests? They need a regime change over there, dude. Those freaking mullahs have been ruining shit for 40 years. True story. It's a religious oligarchy. It's freaking awful. We need to change that. Iran was on the verge of becoming, you know, a great power, and then they screwed it all up. Hey, look, it's your nirvana. No, this is my nirvana. It will continue to be my nirvana, and it shall always be my nirvana. Dude, somebody offered me $2,000 for this knife. $2,000. Would you sell this knife if somebody offered you $2,000 and you paid $1,300? I'm just going to say how much it costs. I don't really care. $1,300 and somebody offered you $2,000. Would you sell it? I said no. That's how much I like it. Tree Fitty. I could probably post that tomorrow on my Instagram. Try to sell it for $2,000. Somebody might buy it. But I try to not jack up my prices. When I sell my knives, I'm generally selling them for the price that I paid for them. Will's Pointy Things isn't in here right now, but he just got a hell of a deal on that 0606. I just sold that shit. $650 is what he got it for, so don't let him sell it to you for $1,200. Just so you know. What are the ideal materials used on a Frunky knife? The ideal materials. Basically, you're looking at them. These knives right here, okay? I'll move this one out because it has Damasteel. So these knives are a particularly good collection of things that I would want to have on my perfect knife. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments while I'm looking at this. I would want to have a titanium integral handle because I love integrals. That's what I would want to have. Alternatively, a carbon fiber integral is also a sexy thing. The perfect Frunky knife would probably be an integral, and you can give me a hard time for that if you want, but it's just cool to me. It just is very cool to me. I like that a whole lot. Keeps it simple, structurally very sound, very cool. Can you show the Sigma clip? Here's the Sigma clip for you, bro. 3D milled. The other thing that a Frunky knife would have is a blade length of somewhere between about 3.5 to maybe about 3.75 inches. So I'm talking about the large Inkosi size. Basically, this is the perfect size blade for me. This one is just over 3.6 inches. And that's basically a perfect freaking size. Large Inkosi. I would want a blade to be about that size. I would not want it to have a flipper. I do enjoy flippers. I don't think that they're a bad thing inherently, but I actually enjoy other opening methods a whole lot more. Because, as you know, maybe it has something to do with my job, that I have some manual dexterity that's required. I like doing some things that are a little bit more... require a bit more dexterity, so I appreciate that. And then stuff that it would have on it, well, it would certainly have a bunch of green on it. Absolutely, it would have green on it. Let's go ahead and bust these out. Oh, the green. So much green in my life. Pull these guys out. Move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Yep. You guys are starting to see a pattern on my channel, dudes. This is what's happening. This is what's happening on my channel. Black and green. Black and green. Tim Allen, are you going to get it in Liang Ma 15? I will when they come out with a new color scheme. I don't think that I don't want it in the current color scheme. I'm going to wait to see what they come out with. What sports do you watch and what teams? I don't watch any sports, dude. I'm not a sports guy. I'm sorry if that makes you not like me. I apologize. I just don't. It does nothing for me. I went to a college that didn't have a football team, so unfortunately I didn't get that passion. And, you know, I can watch everything from rally racing to basketball to football, and I enjoy it, but, like, I just don't follow anything, so it is what it is. Let's see. Have you seen Nick Shabazz's face? No, I haven't. I have not seen Nick Shabazz's face. I don't particularly care to see his face. What college did I go to? Should I reveal information about myself? Why the hell not? I went to Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Great school. Excellent school. But no football team. True story. They actually have a shirt that they sell in the bookstore that says Emory University. Emory football, still undefeated. So that's it. Will I do a face reveal ever? Sure. I have a feeling that at some point I'm going to do it. I don't really want to do it right now, just because I don't really want to do it right now. So if you look on my Instagram and you look around, you'll probably find a picture of me tagged somewhere. So it's not all that hard. I'm not really trying to hide that much, but I'll do it eventually. I'll probably try to make a video with somebody. Good night, Eli. Take care, bro. Thanks for stopping by. What do you guys think of my black and green combos out here? Which one of these knives do you like the most? Choose one right now. Go. Name a knife. Got the Gavco, the Koenig, the Brown, and the BBM. Name one. Go. Bryce says Arius. BBM. Gavco. Of course, Echo. Of course you say the Gavco. Number 2, the Arius. Would you have freaky gay sex with Jim Skelton? What the fuck, bro? You're so weird. Gavco. Gavco. Arius. Gavco. BBM. Arius. BBM. Good. Good. Not a lot of votes for the Brown tonight, though. That's too bad. But I guess this is a weird knife, and it is just for me. So that's totally fine by me. Gavco. 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 Servo. Tim Allen with the Servo. Thanks, dude. The only one I don't have, the BBM. Oop. I'm going to go and mess it up myself. Yep. Somebody got mad at me on my video today, Tony, about naming this the best knife of 2017 because it's not widely available. But you know what? Watch out for Nick Chuprin, dudes. Nick Chuprin's going to be doing big things here, big things in the future. I see him going on to make some spectacular knives. I'm going to go ahead and bring those out again. Check these bad boys out. Nick Chuprin knives. NCC knives. Look at these knives. All of them made by Nick Chuprin. This guy is going to do great things this year. I want this knife when it comes out. It's beautiful. These are very cool knives. Thanks to my buddies Birdshot IV for sending these over to me to review. Very cool. That mini is a little bit too mini. It is very too mini. It is too small. 2.5 inches, not for me. I bet Nick Shabazz will love this tiny little thing. This knife, though, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It actually looks a lot smaller than you think, but it's perfect, even for my big hand. I think that Nick has figured out the perfect size for a knife. Both the BBM and this knife are close to the same size. It's slightly bigger than the BBM, and it just fits in the hand like you wouldn't believe. It's so nice. Least favorite blade shape? Probably Hawkbill. Mostly because I just have difficult memories of having the Talon. It's not that I dislike the Hawkbill blade shape, it's just that it's too hard to sell again. Yeah, I'm going to get that one too, Tony. Should have gotten a BBM, but got a 0392 instead. Well, you made a good choice, because before the BBM, my absolute favorite knife of all time was the 0392. This is the knife that's been here from the beginning. We touched on this earlier in the video too. 0392 BRN GLD. Awesome knife. Spectacular piece. Nope, that's not what I meant to grab. This guy. I have another one. I can't find a 0392. They'll come up on Blade Forums, dude. Go to Blade Forums. You played with the J-Cape? No, I haven't. They look neat. I don't really like the clip. I think that looks silly, honestly. I don't like the lightning and stuff. And I think it's kind of an obscene kind of logo as well, if I recall correctly. 0392 brought me to you, son. Been a long ride. That's right. That is right. I wish that I had kept my Bowie. I regret selling that one. I liked that one a whole lot. Do I like ZT assisted knives? I don't like assisted knives in general. No. The answer is no. Just no. Fist. Yeah, it's a fist. Yeah. It's just doesn't do it for me. The design kind of looks cool. The grind looks cool. I actually watched Eugene Kwan's video on that recently. He did a video on that. That dude reviews knives in the front of his car. That's a little bit strange to me, but he does it. But I like him. He's got a good voice. Eugene Kwan. Cool dude. Blue Bowie was awesome. I like the last one on the right. Check this out. This is my 0392, customized by Josh at Razor Edge Knives. Do I have a daily beater? He loves the knife. He does love the knife. It looks cool, man. He bought it twice, apparently. My daily beater knife. Okay, if I need a knife that I'm going to beat on, this is the knife that I'm carrying. This knife is amazing. The Spyderco Manix 2 with the M4 steel. This is my beater. This thing is awesome. Super sharp. Not afraid to mess it up because it's just a Spyderco. And there will be another special edition some other time. And the PM2 is a close second. The PM2, if I know that I'm going to need to do some actual like down and dirty cutting for a day, one of these M4 blades are the ones that I go to. We'll be waiting for the knife sale on my BBM. You and about 450 other people, my friend. I think I get offers on that knife about every single day. I'm going to have to, I don't know if I'm ever going to sell it, but I got to find some way to make it equitable if that does ever happen. 2 hours of being live on YouTube. 2 hours. I think that's enough time for right now, guys. I have really kind of exhausted all the knives that I've got out here. I really wanted to just show off a couple of these new ones, particularly the brown Knives Servo. If you are watching this, there are 48 of you guys in here right now. So keep listening for the next few seconds. I'm going to release my video on the Koenig Knives Arius unboxing immediately after this video is done. So stay tuned for a nice quick video on this guy in high definition. It has been already approved by Bill Koenig for being a good video. I wanted to run it by him before I sent it out, so absolutely. Gonna live stream some brain surgery? No, I don't think so. The Microtech Stitch is a good beater to use, absolutely. But I'm gonna head out, guys. I appreciate every single person that stopped by in this video and everybody that made a comment. I really, really appreciate this. 2 hours, man. You guys kept me going for 2 hours, and I had a whole lot of fun. I'm going to try to do this pretty regularly. Tavarish, thanks for reminding me. Watch out. We're going to be doing some podcasts together. Awesome to hang out. Oh, Josh, you too. Echo Does Knives. Good night, Tim. David. Chill dudes. Thank you guys so much for coming along. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this, but if you missed the beginning of it, go all the way back. You got 2 hours of Dr. Frunky content, so go back and watch it, dudes. Ton of knives, lots of discussion. This is a lot of fun. I will give you a notification the next time I go live. I try to notify people on Instagram first. So cheers, guys. This is Dr. Frunky saying, take care.